Guys, I'm David from Hoops Southbound. Today we're talking about the SEC players who are outside ESPN's top 50 in this year's best available list. This will include the players listed 50 to 100. Before we get into it, please like and subscribe to this channel if you like SEC basketball. We talk SEC basketball every week on Tuesday mornings, and we do a series like these on YouTube and only our YouTube channel. Also, this video is going to have a slightly different feel to it today, since we're talking about so many different players. But first, let's get into it. At number 52 on ESPN's best available list, we find Ricky Council IV. At 6'6", with an NBA caliber frame and exceptional explosiveness, Council has ideal physical tools for a wing with the ability to get it in his own shot. Ricky Council made the biggest jump in the NBA projections during Maui, where he averaged 19.3 points per game, 3.3 assists, 3 rebounds a night, and 2.7 steals, and had mind-blowing highlight reels to go along with it. Council averaged 16.1 points a game this year for the Razorbacks, 3.6 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and shot 43.3% from the floor. His strengths, well, he's a decent scorer off the dribble, he excels in off-ball motion, and he has good ball handling. And on top of everything else, if you haven't seen that as highlight reels, he's a fantastic athlete. For his improvements, he needs to improve his shooting. He has a reluctance to take outside shots, and he needs to improve his passing ability. And of course, while he is decent on defense, he can have lapses on the defensive end of the floor. ESPN's Jonathan Giovanni writes, Council is very much a feast or famine prospect, especially on the defensive end, where the game clearly moves too fast for him and his intensity level and focus really fluctuate. With all that said, wings with Council's physical ability, scoring instincts, and potential defensive versatility aren't easy to come by. Right now, he's projected somewhere in the second round. He was at one point this season considered to be a late first-round pick, but has since slid since then. At number 56, Kentucky's Chris Livingston is the number 15 small forward in this year's draft. The UK freshman averaged 6.3 points a game, 4.2 rebounds, just under 1 assist a game, and shot 42.9% from the floor. His strengths include that he is an adequate shooter and scorer off the dribble. He's a solid rebounder for his size, and he's also a decent playmaker. For his improvements, he can be a streaky shooter at given times, and he can be hesitant to take outside shots, and he tends to be a little turnover prone. ESPN writes on Livingston that his jumper was streaky in high school, but he has shown some ability to make shots with his feet set throughout his career, the evolution of which will play a big role in how he's perceived as an NBA prospect. He also has some multi-positional versatility defensively in his length, size, and toughness. Right now, Livingston is projected to go in the second round, but is ranging to undrafted. Coming in at number 58 and the number 4 center in this year's draft is Colin Castleton. Interestingly enough, the guys above him include Wemby, who will likely be the number 1 draft pick, Derek Lively of Duke, who is ranked in the top 15 of players, and James Nahai, who is ranked in the top 25. Castleton's senior season at Florida was cut short due to an injury, but he showed up and played well in elite camp. It wasn't enough to get a bid to the combine, but Castleton's still ranked in the top 5 in his position and is still solid. Unfortunately, as a center, it's a position that doesn't get the same love it did back in the age of Shaq. In his final season for the Gators, Castleton averaged 16 points a game, nearly 8 rebounds, and almost 3 assists. He shot 50% from the floor. His strengths? He's a good shot blocker, solid low-post scorer, and a solid rebounder. Easily summed up, he does his job, which is why he will be a pro. His improvements, however, he does have a limited shooting range. He needs to improve his playmaking skills, but we saw some improvement while he was in elite camp. And then finally, he's not the most athletic player out on the floor, so a little bit of bulking up and some gym time will be necessary for Castleton. Right now, Castleton is considered a borderline second-round draft pick. Next up at 62 is Alabama's Charles Bediako. Bediako was a big loss for Alabama's hopes for next season, and he will be missed by Tide fans. Bediako averaged 6.4 points per game, 6 rebounds, just over half an assist, and shot 65.9% from the floor. His strengths, he excels in off-ball motion. He's a solid rebounder with a solid motor and is very strong. His improvements, however, he's a poor free throw shooter, which is a surprise coming from someone on Nate Oates' roster. He can also be turnover prone, and he is perceived to be very raw offensively. Bediako is projected right now to go somewhere in the late second round to undrafted. Next up at the number 65 spot is a player that needs no introduction and was an absolute monster for Kentucky over the last couple of years. That's, of course, Oscar Tshiebwe. Big Oscar averaged just under 17 points a game, nearly 14 rebounds, shot 56% from the floor, and 1.1 assists on a given night. Strengths: he's a strong finisher, decent low post defender, a great rebounder, and he has a ton of strength. The improvement areas includes that he needs to improve his playmaking skills. Additionally, he's slightly undersized for the next level going into the NBA, and he can have lapses on defense at time. Right now, Oscar's projected to be a second rounder to undrafted. At number 79, Liam Robbins of Vanderbilt comes in as the number 10 center in this year's draft. He helped Vandy out with 15 points a game, just under 7 rebounds, 1 assist a night, and he shot 50% from the floor. His strengths include that he has a solid motor, good playmaker for his size, and he's a decent shooter with some stretch big potential. His improvements: well, he needs to work on some rebounding. He's not an elite rebounder. He can also be foul prone on defense, and he's just an average free throw shooter. Right now, we suspect Robbins will go undrafted. One of the reasons for Mizzou's success this season was D'Moy Hodge. Hodge comes in at number 90 overall in the best available list and number 24 at his position, which they have listed as a shot guard. This year, Hodge averaged 14.7 points a night for the Tigers, just under 4 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and was 47.7% from the floor. He also averaged 2.6 steals a night. His strengths: he's a decent shooter, solid defender, and a solid athlete. His improvements, however, there's some concern about his size at the 2 spot, and he's not a true point guard for the number 1. He's an older prospect, and just like Kobe Brown, he may have some limited upside coming into the NBA. Right now, Hodge is projected undrafted, but honestly, I think he could be interesting to watch in the G League and could develop into a role player in the NBA down the road. At number 93, Kentucky's Jacob Toppin averaged 12.4 points a game, 6.8 rebounds, and 2.2 assists. Toppin shot 46.3% from the floor this season. His strengths: he's a decent mid-range shooter. He's a decent rebounder and a good playmaker and an excellent athlete. His improvements, though: he's a little weak on his outside shooting, and he can be passive on the offensive end of the ball. Additionally, he struggles to create his own shot. Right now, Jacob Toppin is projected undrafted. Hey guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, go ahead, like and subscribe to the video. And also, since you guys stuck out the series, I'm going to give you a heads up on the next series coming out. We call it Freshman 15. We're going to give you a look at the top 15 freshmen who are going to be coming into the SEC for the 2023 and 2024 season. So we'll see you Tuesday on the next episode of the show, and until then, we'll catch you later.